Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Yes, TK Carter has left the building. That guy had a pretty good career. Passed away today or this morning at yesterday, as a matter of fact, at age 69. He's been in a lot of things, but for me, he's always going to be Knowles from The Thing. And The Thing is, I consider The Thing to be the greatest horror movie of all time. So everybody that was in that movie, from Wilford Brimley, Kurt Russell, TK Carter, there's so many people in that movie that I will remember forever, and he's one of them. But he had a long career. Started in 1977. He was in Good Times, Walton's, Corvette Summer, Hollywood Nights, The Jeffersons, obviously The Thing, Dr. Detroit. Wow, I remember that movie. The Transformers. He was actually a Transformer voice. He did a lot of voiceover. Amazon Women from the Moon. He was in Family Matters. He was on The Sim. I mean, he was in a lot of stuff. He was in NYPD Blue. The last thing he did was a film called a show called The Company You Keep. But yeah, like I said, I found out about his passing on the Thing page because I am a big fan of that and I follow that, and that kind of sucked. Cause of death unknown. So there you go. On a lighter note, it's Saturday. It's Saturday. That means sometime within the next couple hours, I'm going to order a fat burger and make myself feel better about the week. Today's show, we're going to cover, amongst other things, we're going to do a spoiler review of Absloute Batman Arkham Special #1. It's the last copy I have. I've sold through everything else. This is the only reason I really have this copy is because I wanted to use it for now. I'm pretty sure once I put it back on the shelf, it's going to go. It may go tonight. I'm going to do a spoiler review. A couple of days ago, Scott Snyder sent me the issue before it was released. I read it and I did a non-spoiler review. This time we're going to go through it. I am going to spoil it for you, and I'll put the spoiler tab. It being 2026 and the 40th anniversary of everything that was released during that big year, we are going to cover two things. The music topic is going to be Metallica, Master of Puppets, which was released in 1986. It is the last album that bassist Cliff Burton worked on before he was tragically killed during the touring in the support of that album. And Jason Newsted would replace him from that point on to about 2004. And then one of the great science fiction horror movies ever made, not the greatest, but it's up there, James Cameron's Alien. I cannot believe that the guy who gave us Terminator and Terminator and Aliens gave me softcore stuff like Titanic and Avatar. He's still an all-time great, though, an all-time great. So we're going to celebrate the 40th. Can't fucking believe that these movies, these things, This entire year is going to make me feel like I'm 182 years old because there's a lot of cool shit that I lived and remembered. That's probably one of the best years of entertainment. And it's 40 now. It's 40. If you were born in 1986 now, you are now 40. Welcome to the clubs. All right. We will have Brad along at some point in time. I know he's just wrapping up watching PRIMATE. Once he gets here, I'm going to hand the show over to him. He's going to do a review of that. I wanted to go see it, but I just didn't have the time. You guys heard that before. Yeah, so those are going to be the main topics tonight. Going to be a truncated show because I don't have 4 hours, 3 hours in me. We did a long 5-hour vodka stream last night, and I was on for most of it, so a little bit tired. What's going on with this Bears game? Let's see. The Bears. I know. All right, so the Bears have the ball back. Let's see what this is. I was watching this game on Prime, but it was a blowout. I mean, it was like 21-3 at one point, and then the Bears have the ball with 2 minutes and 41 seconds left, and they're making a drive to try to win the game. Fuck, and I'm watching the Kings game too, and piece of shit Oilers scored. I just need somebody to separate Connor McDavid's shoulders from his body. That's all I need. Fuck. Oh. All right, so let's start from the top. How you doing, Ozzy? What's going on? Brad is not here yet, but he will be. I know you've been following that dog. You and that dog. Yeah, I don't know what the Astro Awards are. I thought we had the Directors Guild and Screen Guild, but I haven't heard of the Astro Awards. So, congratulations, Hello Duck. I wish they made more Alien movies. Well, they did. The next one that came out, 6 years later, was an abysmal pile of shit, and that was Alien 3. So, I think I agree that they should have made more Alien movies. They just should have made good ones. So, there you go. All right, so we will be covering Master of Puppets tonight. One of the best Metallica albums that was ever done. It was a game-changing one because it was the one that set them up to be the large type stadium presence that would culminate with the Black Album. But Master of Puppets that's where I started as a kid. Started to hear Metallica on some of the mainstream radio stations because they weren't playing them prior to that. Late 1986, early 1987, you started to hear it more on mainstream radio instead of having to listen to like pirate radio later o'clock at night. So this was the album I think that really started to kick down the walls. And then after that, you'd have Injustice for All. And then after Injustice for All, you'd have the Black Album, which would be their most commercially successful album. So I have put that link, and I'll put it again when we get to it. I have put that link. The entire album is in that link. So if you guys want to listen to it, let me know what you think. 2-minute warning. 2nd and 4 in the Bears. Let's see. Who the fuck scored for those assholes? Leon Draisaitl has both goals. Both goals for Edmonton. I have been waiting for that guy to get carried out on a stretcher for years now, and I hope tonight's tonight. Fuck that guy. Fuck him and Connor McDavid. Sorry, Edmonton. Anyway, so how you doing, Anthony Cheeseman or not Cheeseman? I don't know why I got him. Anthony Manzano, what's going on? William, I believe Sebastian Stan is going to be Harvey Dent. Based on what? Based on what? The only people that have been spreading that have been fans who are not inside the production project. So everybody who says that they believe, and this could be true, but what the information that we officially have right now, we have nothing to base that on. If you're basing that belief on what fans have been posting, then that's not any good. And Matt Reeves has said this person has not been on screen before. We've already had Harvey Dent on screen multiple times. So I don't know where anybody is getting this from. I'm just really curious. Let's see. All right, 2-minute warning. Yeah, see, Anthony, you're writing your own script here. I mean, it could very well be Harvey Dent Two-Face, but right now we don't have anything to go on. It's just people throwing shit up against the wall to see what sticks as far as fandoms goes. I hope it's not. I'm tired of seeing Harvey Dent on screen. There you go. King's just tied it up. We've had Harvey Dent in every iteration. I would like to, I really don't think Harvey Dent fits Matt Reeves' universe, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure I could probably get somebody here on the other side of the screen that would tell you different. But I don't believe Harvey Dent in the way that you'd end up having to do him, and in that universe would even be something, you know, in why we've seen it before, and we have other villains that fit Matt Reeves' universe more than he does. Like I said, a lot of people brought up the Court of Owls. You could have the Court of Owls in there. You could have Talon in there by default. There's a lot of you could have Mr. Freeze, but do him in a way that is not fantastical. I don't see how you do Two-Face. You probably could, but once again, why? When you have a bevy of other villains that probably fit better. But yeah, once again, haven't heard anything from anybody official, and until I hear, there's only two people I'm going to believe it from: Matt Reeves and whoever ends up playing Two-Face. So if it's if it's what's his face, and then he posts something about it, then okay, cool. But if he doesn't, and all I hear from his fans, I'm just gonna continue to kind of like dismiss it. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's haunting. It is haunting. Like I said, I get a lot of Vertigo references when I read. I kind of look for those kind of references. Ooh, the Bears scored. It's 30. It's going to be 31-27, I think. So that means Green Bay has to score in order to win the game with less than 2 minutes left. This one had a lot of Vertigo references in it. I really enjoyed it. The artwork is kind of creepy. I'm going to open it up when we get. But I have the issue on digits because that's the way it was sent to me via Scott Snyder. So we're going to take a look at that as well. Yes. I give every Star Trek show a chance. I even gave Lower Decks a chance until it just didn't entertain me anymore. But I give every Star Trek show a chance because Star Trek to me has done it's not perfect, but it's done enough good stuff to where it has the benefit of the doubt for me. So yeah, I will be there watching that show until it no longer entertains me. Hopefully, it keeps me for its entire run because I need some good Star Trek while I'm waiting for the last couple of seasons of Strange New World, and I'm waiting for them to get off their ass and make a Star Trek. I don't want to call it legacy, but whatever show ends up being, the show where Seven of Nine is the captain of the USS Enterprise. I am waiting for that show. I think that show, to be honest with you, would bring a lot of fractured Star Trek fans together. So, but I will be watching the Academy. I don't have a dog in that fight, to be honest with you. I'm not from the Midwest, and I never got caught up in that rivalry. Did James Hetfield start another band before he formed Metallica? I don't know. They were very young. I think he had other bands that kind of became Metallica, but they were teenagers when they did Metallica. So I don't know if he had enough time because right out of high school, it was him and Lars Ulrich. So I don't know if they ever had time to do another band. I think pretty much everything got formed up in Metallica. Well, that's a big part. That part right there, Rational, ruined the film. That mistake that they made there was the point of no return. It was a stupid decision, and the movie never recovered. And then the movie was just not good. The movie was not good, in large part because they weren't there. But the movie just wasn't a good movie. Even the director looks back on it and it's like, oh. Let's see. All right, Packers got the ball. 2nd and 7. A lot of sports going on. Playoff football. Yeah, the Rams won, and to be honest with you, the Rams were a 10-point favorite. Not that the spread matters. I thought they looked like shit against an 8-9 team. I watched that game, and I'm like, I thought I had it up on the TV, and I'm like, okay, this is just going to be something I listen to in the background. They barely won that game. It was one play. Nakua, Matt Stafford threw what should have been an interception, but Puka Nakua broke it up. He missed the ball, and he came back to the ball and took it out of the guy's hands. Otherwise, that's an interception, and they don't score again. So they face Seattle next week, and I think they're going to get their ears blown off in Seattle. That's just my opinion. But yeah, it was a good game, sloppy game, but yeah, good as far as like excitement goes. And then you have this one right here. Let's see, Packers. Wow, Packers are about to blow the game. Packers are at 4th and 7 with a minute. If they don't get it here, if they don't go for it and get it here, they're done. And the Bears sucked throughout that entire game and have the lead now. Now a lot of that is because of there are some injuries on that team. So hold on. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what this guy's talking. I get a lot of stupid messages doing shows, guys. Oh, no, they got the 1st and 10. There you go. But it won't go into overtime because it has to be a touchdown. I don't know how Hollywood Reporter can confirm anything. They haven't really confirmed anything before the actual people who make the movies put it out. Hollywood before, and Variety did that stupid shit too. Until Matt Reeves tells me who's playing the characters in his movies, I'm not going to even focus on it. Hollywood Reporter is not making the movie. Matt Reeves is making the movie. I don't care about the stylist. I don't care about any of that stuff. And if it turns out to be true, fine. But I have learned not to give two shits about things like this that get released. And when I have those people's, here, if they want to put it out there, they can put it out there. It'll take them 2 seconds. The actor in question has an Instagram, has Twitter, has all that stuff. And when I see it there, then fine. I hope they make a better decision. And if he is there, do like you did. I don't need him to be a major figure. He can, have him be, if he's just Harvey Dent, not Two-Face. But if he's Two-Face, then who am I supposed to believe? Matt Reeves, who said our villain is not going to be somebody we've seen on screen before, or somebody's stylist, or Hollywood Reporter, or Variety. All 2 of those 3 have led me astray before. So at this point, until we get it official, and listen, when Sebastian Stan comes on his Twitter, and oh wow, I just got the notification in my. Oh, that's scary. And when Sebastian Stan comes up and say, "Hey, I'm Two-Face," or Matt Reeves says, "Hey, here's our Two-Face," then we'll go from there. But until then, I'm not going to go for it, because a lot of this shit ends up being fan casting that people try to speak into reality. And if it's real, Sebastian Stan will tell me. Matt Reeves will tell me. Till then, let's see. Oh, look who's here. Yeah, Dave Mustaine. Yeah, he it's tough to imagine a metal world that doesn't include Megadeth. That's just weird for me, and all because he got fired. If yeah, he did a version of it, because I think he has co-writing. He has co-writing credits on that one. So he's done that before with some of the other songs that he's done that he got credit on even after he was fired from the band. If you look at the album, if you look at Master of Puppets, there are songs on there that he wrote. Kill 'Em All, he co-wrote. So there are songs, and that was one of those things where they had to work that out because he still got money from those albums because he got writing credits and you get residuals from that. So he's still making money off of those albums. So yeah, I do know that he did Ride the Lightning. He's got a couple of songs that he's done that with that are his because he wrote them. So yeah, put aware of that. I don't think I'm going to go see Greenland Migration. It's just a matter of time. That's one of those movies where I can just watch that on streaming. Yeah, I love Strange New Worlds. Okay. Yeah. If it's see, I just don't. Me and critics, I don't think we're on the same plan. Yeah, it was very haunting horror vibe. It reminded me of The Shining if The Shining were good, and I'm not a big fan of The Shining. It bores the shit out of me. But it had the elements that they use in The Shining, but in my opinion, it's used, and there's a lot of misdirection in the story. We'll go through that. I didn't have a dog in the Panthers. I'm from LA, but I never made a connection with the Rams because they basically spent my entire life trying to get out of LA. And by the time they came back, I was already living here. So I just never had a good taste in my mouth when it came with the Rams and Carolina Panthers. I don't care about it at all. So yes, the last Megadeth album releases here. I think it was in April. I think it is. Let There Be Shed Hard. You should listen. Well, they dropped 3 songs. I'm on his page. Yeah, I'm on his page, so I get alerts when good old Dave decides he wants to drop something. Let's see. DC is so dead right now. Seems so dead right now. Well, there's just not a lot coming out. There's just no frequency. You have the last film we had was in July. The next film we're gonna have is gonna be next July, so or June. So yeah, it's just the lull is down. All right, so 2nd and 15. Packers got the ball on the Bears 28. And they got 13 seconds left, so they need to get into the end zone. Or the Bears, if I were betting, I would not have bet the Bears. I think the Bears are just waiting to get beat. But then again, so are the Packers. Let's see. Supergirl comes out in June, I believe. Yeah, last play of the game right here. Let's see. 3rd and 15. Yep, 3rd and 15 with 13 seconds. They got technically a little bit, but it depends on how much they get. Because I'm not watching it on TV. I'm watching the score. I had the Kings game on TV because the game just didn't mean anything to me. Let's see. Hold on. They call it timeout. William, why do heavy metal fans either completely love Dave or hate him? Because he's that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy. And he, in all fairness, listen, Dave, if you're ever watching this show, and, he's an asshole. That's it. The Bears won that game. I'll be damned. I did not have that in the cards. They're gone the next round, but I didn't have them getting past this one. Okay. Yeah, Dave. Just watch a couple of Dave Mustaine interviews. He's not always the most pleasant, and he's got an edge. He's got a chip on his shoulder because of what happened to him. Literally, listen. He's an ass, but that's been his strength. Because if he wasn't an asshole, and a stubborn asshole, there would be no Megadeth. A lot of guys, if they got fired from the band, look at the guy. Look at Pete Best from the Beatles. Look at Pete Willis from Def Leppard. You never heard of those guys because they got fired before the band got big. They could have gone into a maelstrom of depression. Nah, I mean he used his rage. He used his rage to create Megadeth. But he's also hard. He's a perfectionist and he wants things his way, and that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Now, conversely, if you think Metallica sold out, then you see Dave Mustaine as a champion. If you feel that Metallica went corporate, and when they from 86 on to 91, then Dave Mustaine is you would view him. A lot of people view him as somebody who stayed true to the thrash metal because Metallica started out. That's where Metallica started out. Kill 'Em All, Garage Days. That was considered thrash. And when they went their own ways, Metallica became less thrash because thrash wasn't commercially successful at that time. Dave Mustaine kept thrash, and he shepherded thrash to make it relevant. Thrash metal is not relevant. I'm sorry. I know I'll probably get a lot of metalheads that send me whatever messages. I'm not saying that everybody who did thrash metal is irrelevant. But without Dave Mustaine and Megadeth keeping that music relevant and keeping it in the forefront till somebody would give it a chance, a lot of those bands would have never gotten a light. And so you got to so that's why it's the whole nature of the way he left, and this lifelong war with Metallica has fan bases that are just right back and forth. You either love him because you consider him to be an OG, an original, true to the game when it comes to thrash metal, or you hate him because you look at him as some prick that just has a chip on his shoulder. Choose your side, I guess. Super Bowl predictions. I am still a believer in that the Eagles are going to make it back to the Super Bowl. And I think that the Buffalo Bills will be there. Yeah, that's who I think it's going to be. Philadelphia and Buffalo, and I think Buffalo edges them out to repeat as champions. Ooh, Harper. Oh, is it time to? Might have to pause the show. Order the fabric. LeBron and the Lakers lost yesterday. My husband is sad, but I'm glad they lost. I'm sick of LeBron's time's up. You know what? Time Bell Rev out here, isn't it? Isn't it? The Bears. I mean, the Packers were that tie. Once the Packers tied with the Cowboys, I knew the Packers weren't going to go far anywhere. I didn't expect them to lose. To the Bears, but I didn't feel them as a legitimate whatever. Especially once they lost the dude that they got from the Cowboys because their defense opened up after that. They weren't as good a defensive team after he went out with the injury. Yes, he's actually said he's an asshole. Yeah, Dave Mustaine will tell you in an interview, yeah, I know I'm an asshole, but you know what? He's Dave Mustaine. He figured he can be. By the way, guys, let me know in the chat if I'm coming through clear. I'm not on the best of internet right now. I don't want to switch over to my hotspot if I can avoid it. But yeah. Yeah, he got clean. He got clean and sober for a while. That was Megadeth's one of Megadeth's biggest problems was the drugs. A lot of these bands, Metallica included. But during the height in the lineups and everything else, the biggest problem with their lineups and stuff were the drugs. Especially once you start hitting it big, you got access to better shit. So once he, I think he's pretty much clean and sober. He's hitting 70, isn't he? Or how old is Dave Mustaine? Dave Mustaine is up there. I think is he passing 70? How old is Dave? 64. I'm sorry, 64. Why is he stopping? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's easy to choose a side between the two. Nah, I think Dave Mustaine's a born again Christian, isn't he? I think he went through the whole deal. I think he's straight and narrow now. Aren't most great frontmen that didn't like the two guys from Queens. They at times didn't like working with Freddie because he was such a perfectionist. Yeah, but they also knew that they needed him to be that, though. He set the tone and he brought out the best in their talents. Even Brian May said that there were times when and it's like a family. That band was with each other forever. When you're doing a creative process like that, it's not pretty. The creative process, no matter what you do, a lot of times is not pretty. You have to hammer out things. You know what? Sometimes you have to be able to, not take it personally. But yeah, he was a perfectionist and he had the voice to be that way. But they all knew that they needed each other. Queen is one of those bands. That's why they never broke up, really. Yeah, and if Freddie would have lived, they'd probably be together up until the last few years. I know Brian May is hanging it up because he's getting up there. But if Freddie hadn't passed away, they'd have been together. They wouldn't have. I don't think they would have broke up because they knew they needed each other. Freddie's voice. I know he did some single stuff, but the stuff Freddie did single and versus what he did when Brian May was behind him on guitar, totally different universes. So. Yeah, but a lot of what Steven Tyler was good they were going through when they were breaking up was drugs, though. There was a lot. You got to realize this was the 80s. Remember when Dave was on that show, Rockstar Superheroes, a show where they tried to find him a lead singer? Tommy Lee was part of that. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't watch it, but I heard about that. And non-vendetta, William James Gunn on Threads, reposted to Hollywood Reporter's post saying Sebastian Stan is Harvey Dent. Doesn't mean shit to me. Doesn't mean jack shit to me. James Gunn is not making the Batman Part 2. Just because James Gunn reposted, dude, a lot of these guys see that, oh, that's cool, and they repost it. It's not a declaration that anything's going on. Now, if Matt Reeves, the actual maker of the movie, the one who wrote the script and casted whoever is going to be whoever, if he says it, then then I'll believe it. But I'm not, like I said, we should have learned our lesson. Haven't we learned our lesson over the last 10 to 15 years when these comic book movies go? That it's not a competition to get stuff out first. Let's get it right. If Sebastian Stan is indeed Two-Face, which I kind of find fucking sad, given this universe and the type of villains that would probably fit better. But if it is, it is. But I'm not going on anything but I'm not going anywhere with it until I hear it from either Sebastian Stan or Matt Reeves, because everybody else is not going to reposting something is not announcing something, and that's kind of disrespectful if you were going to announce something and you're not the director and you're not the actor playing anything. Most people aren't going to do that. So him reposting that doesn't mean that's the announcement. That may mean, hey, I thought that was kind of cool. Wouldn't that be cool? If just because somebody reposts something doesn't make that, a declaration. Let's just wait till Matt Reeves tells us that Two-Face is in the movie and that's Sebastian Stan. Is that so hard? I mean, I'm just, hold on. Let me check my sound real quick. I need to make sure that I'm good. All right, I made some adjustments. I sound like I don't like the way I sound when I'm at the store, but when I'm at the store, it's different because I don't have any closures or anything, so I don't like that megaphone sound. So hopefully that did a little bit better. Bills and Bears. I don't think the Bears. There's any chance that the Bears make it to the Super Bowl. I think there's no chance. I'm shocked that they made it past the Packers, but the Packers once again, the Packers were exposed. You know that tie against Dallas is unfucking forgivable. That's well, but you got Philly still left. You got Seattle still left. You got the Rams still left. Although I think the Rams are going to get beat next week. You know, if I had to bet, I'm not going to bet. Yeah, I out of the teams left when it gets into the divisional rounds. So who do the Bears play next? Hold on, let's look. I think it has to be Philly, right? No. Oh, so it'll be the winner of the. I think it's the winner of San Francisco and the Eagles, which I don't see the Eagles losing that game, but I'm not as confident in that as I would be when it comes to anything else. Let's see, NFL, more sports, NFL playoff brackets, standings, power rankings, more. Charts. All right, so let's look here. Yeah, the Bears are playing the winner of the Niners and the Eagles. I see them losing to either of those teams. I think the Niners are a little bit more beat up, and that game's in Philly. So yeah, now. The Bears would have home field against the Eagles, but I don't think that's going to mean shit. That's just where they'll get beat. Both of them are cold weather places where it's probably going to be snowing. So like I said, maybe it's the Dodgers fan in me that says until you knock out the champs, I still see them getting back. Rams, and I guess Rams is going to be it's going to be the Rams and the Seahawks. I just don't see the Seahawks losing to them, but that's just me. New England is doing well, but they also had one of the weaker schedules, I think. So if it came down to them in Buffalo, I think Buffalo would get them. Guns' latest. Hold on. Guns' latest interview sounds like he's looking to exit role of DC, calling it unsustainable. We were talking about that the other day. I don't know what the fuck that means, to be honest with you. That's ambiguous. What does he mean? Does he mean the DCU in general is unsustainable, or the pace that he's telling stories is unsustainable? Is he going to end the DCU and start something out of the DC? I don't know. That interview, I didn't really see a lot in that interview that would tell me that what's sustainable for how long. So yeah, I kind of I'm gonna wait until he kind of clarifies that. Oh yeah, Ryback burned a lot of bridges. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. LOL. They'll find a way to blame who for that fourth. Oh yeah. Yeah, he had an issue. He had to cancel concert. I remember that was a while back, and I think that's what made him come to Jesus. A lot of times when you are physically, you may meet him, you're like, oh shit, I'm not ready to go, and then you end up embracing him that way. But yeah, I remember. I don't know if he was brain dead, but he was, he had to be revived. I know that. I remember that was yeah, he still has all of his real hair. Yep, no receding hairline, all that big carrot top, dude. How you doing, Toledo? What's going on? What happened to metal? I have to listen to the whole shit evening. Well, metal had its time. Just like alternative music had its time. Buzzman music had its time. And sometimes, even though those bands carry on and they can still sell out stadiums and stuff, their music it's encapsulated in perfect harmony with time it was released. You know, there's a and that you could say that for just about every music genre. To be honest with you, you could say that with different versions. I mean, remember gangster rap? You know, remember New Jack? All that stuff. It had its time and place, and that's I think what makes music special because it takes you back to that time and place. But metal, like the metal we're talking about, it's still there because even though the it's not prominent as it was back in the 80s, Megadeth is still prominent. They're still releasing shit. And their fans we didn't go away. Metallica still releasing shit. It's not like they're not the top band in the world or anything, but we're still here. If they went and came to your town and said, we're gonna do a show, Metallica would sell out a stadium like that. So would Megadeth. So they're still out there. It's just, the other music is taking its place. But once we hear it, we don't ever let go of it. I'm doing all right. What the fuck's wrong with this thing? I don't know why I can't highlight your comment for it, but they didn't really die. They just are no longer in the forefront. That's not death. Hello, I got 2 Aussies in here now. And a New Zealander, I believe. Don't like it. I'm not a big Korn fan to begin with. So yeah, they did it in their true fashion. I've never been a big fan of Korn, so no, not a big fan of them. Yeah, I saw you. You were on other stream the other day too. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, you have not been posting. You haven't been doing your crazy videos lately. Where you been? What's going on? You haven't been in jail or anything, have you? See, I'm just getting to. I mean, who determines that though? A lot of what was metal was dictated by them. So what do you mean? They changed some stuff. But you know what? When I go to a Metallica concert, I know that I'm getting I'm getting Master of Puppets. I know I'm getting and Justice for All. I know I'm getting Seek and Destroy. I know I'm getting Harvester of Sorrow. And even if it's a new album with some shit I don't like or to relate to, it doesn't matter. They know when they show up to that stadium, if they don't pull out the hits, they're gonna lose their concert going people. We show up for the best of. When you hold a concert and you've been around for 40 years, you have that new shit, you get that shit out the way, a couple songs, maybe 2-3 songs. I remember when they released the Black Album, I went to the concert for the Black Album. That we went to the Rose Bowl and saw them there. That was a new album that was selling millions of copies. But when they performed, they did their set, and like I said, you're getting one. You're getting getting Battery. You're getting Anastasia. You're getting the old. You're not getting Anastasia unless but you're getting the stuff that you want to hear, and that's with any band. When you show up to see them live, I can hear that new shit on the radio. So them not being metal, that's subjective, but they're still good enough to where they're Metallica. Brad was seeing Primate, which he's supposed to shoot in. Hopefully I hope he didn't go lie down, because when he lied down, he's like fucking 6-7 hours later, he's like, oh dude, I'm sorry, man. So I know he messaged me and told me he was going to be doing that, and then I'm like, okay, cool, you'll do the review tonight because I haven't had a chance to see it. I hate new metal. I listen. If you love new metal, have at it. I hate new metal. I really just it hurts my ears. I don't like it. I don't like the rhythm of it. I don't like the tone of it. Lyrically, it's no, no, nope. That's when I knew that I had lived what kind of era I had lived in and how good that era was. When I had heavy metal and alternative rock, and then that shit squeezed out, but that new metal, ugh. To me, new metal is the pineapple of music. I don't need it in any form. Yeah, a lot of people. What's Skin a Jar is a remake, though. I think that was a Bob Seger song, was it? Skin a Jar. Metallica playing a free concert in Oakland parking lot before AFC Championship game was a cool metal moment for a Raiders fan. Wow, that sounds like a dangerous event. Whenever you put a lot of Raider fans together, nobody got hurt. Yeah, I mean, like I said, to each his own. I just really, that's when I knew I had to step away from the table there. So, all right, so fuck. We are 1 hour into the show and we don't have any co-sets. So, it's time to order some food. Let's see. It's time for my weekly treat, my 2 pounds of happiness. And I forgot to give them the review of the last one. Hello Weekend. There we go. Let's do it again. Yes. Add some stuff to it. What should I add to this week's fat burger? All right, got the bacon. Let's see, grilled onions, $1,000 bacon, chili. Nah, I don't want the chili. Onion rings. Nah. Dairy-free cheese. Why even? I know there's lactose intolerant people, but that's like dry water. Why? I don't know. Why would you do that? All right, so we're going to go with American cheese. Customized topping. Do that. All right, so let's do. All right. Let's see. Deals see items. There's free. One eligible. Okay, see all deals. Okay, see items. So it's all right. Let's see. Chevelle is underrated. They are, but they just didn't put out a lot of stuff. When I think of Chevelle, the only song I just comes to mind, even though I've heard more of their songs, was "Send the Pain Below." That's the only song I can. Send the pain below. I can't think of another song, even though I know I've heard them, but there's just not enough out there for me. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and finish ordering this fat burger. Yes, indeed. All right, so most ordered. So says here I get a free item, but it doesn't tell me. Save 450. What are the items that cost? Deals and benefits. See all the deals. Okay, let's see if this does it. So, what should I get in my free items? Let's try that. Continue. Direct to me. We're going to 900. We're going to send it here. And let's see. Tip is no. We're going to give you 2. Here we go. 26. Hold on for a second. Animal, you're talking about, dude. Deftones, yeah, they found that girl from the Deftones. I guess I don't know. You consider Deftones new metal? Okay. I don't have a fight. Be right back, guys. All right. The fat burger has been ordered. And all right, so let's go into it. Let's go into Master of Puppets. All right, largely considered the best Metallica album ever released. I don't put it in that category. I put it up there, but for me, it's and Justice for All is going to be the best of the Metallica albums. Hold on, I'm getting a message from Fatburger. Okay. Let's go in here. All right, so let's go with some of the tracks. Like I said, there's a link. I probably should have put that link. I'll put that link in the description later on, but there's a link in the chat. I will put it there for some of you right now that did not may have came on later in the show. For those of you, obviously, this is mainly for some of the people who have not experienced this music. This is what this whole segment is for. Hold on. Which one of these bands do you like the most? Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer, Twisted Sister, Black Sabbath? Oh, fuck, dude. Dude, that's an impossible question to answer, Rational. I like them all. Oh, well, Twisted Sister, I know one song. Black Sabbath is limited to two albums for me because I'm not the biggest fan of all their other stuff. I appreciate it, but Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules are the two ones that those are the two Ronnie James Dio albums, and those are the ones that I connect with the most. Obviously, they as a whole meant a lot to heavy metal, but as far as like my preference goes, I don't listen to as much Black Sabbath outside of those two albums. So I have to drop them off. Van Halen's one of the all-time great. Once again, though, when for Van Halen for me is 1986 to 1997, and that's the Van Hagar years. Sammy Hagar to me, there's nothing else before or after when it comes. I understand that David Lee Roth is legendary, but for my musical taste, I like a band with a lead singer that can sing, and he was an MC. So there's another band where it's kind of their history is split up into, obviously there are songs from the Roth era that I listen to, but I listen to the entirety of the Hagar era. So I can't really put those bands in there because they have split histories with me. I never cared for Motley Crue at all. Poison, same. Twisted Sister, like I said, one song. We're not going to take it. I mean, that's it. Slayer instrumentally, I love. Lyrically, I never was there with them or Anthrax. But what those guys do on bass and guitar and rhythm at that speed is beautiful. And thankfully, they have a lot of solos that are pretty long in their songs. I wouldn't put either of those bands ahead of Metallica and Megadeth. But you're also giving me two different genres. Maybe Motley Crue and Van Halen are rock. Black Sabbath, is heavy metal, but they're also rock as well. Slayer and Anthrax are speed, so that's a different. There's so many different genres. The straight up heavy metal is going to be the one I would lean to the both, but I also love Van Halen. But like I said, for the entirety from beginning to end, as far as music I can listen to from beginning to end and have the same consistency of the lineup for the most part, is going to be Metallica. Even though they've switched out members, it's still Lars and James run that band, so I got to go with Metallica. All right, so when we're talking about is the third album by the American heavy metal band Metallica, released March 3rd, 1986 by Elektra Records, recorded in Copenhagen, Denmark at Sweet Silence Studios with producer Flemming Rasmussen, is the band's final album that featured bassist Cliff Burton. While touring in support of Master of Puppets, he died on September 27th, 1986, after the band's tour bus was involved in an accident in Durup, Sweden. The artwork is designed by Peter Mitch and painted by Don Brogdon. Depicts a cemetery filled with white crosses tethered to strings manipulated by a pair of hands in a clouded blood sky with a fiery orange glow in back. It's infamous. So they went into support of Ozzy Osbourne on that tour because this was a turning point for them. After this album, after Master of Puppets, they would not tour. I don't believe they toured in support of anybody. I think people toured in support of them. All right, Battery. Battery is the number one song, the first song off the album. Battery is a great album, great instrumental. And then the title track, Master of Puppets, one of probably the most infamous songs Metallica has ever put out. And then a lot of you got reintroduced to that song, you damn kids, with Stranger Things, because that is the song Eddie played at the top of the trailer in the Upside Down. The Thing That Should Not Be, Welcome Home Sanitarium is an awesome song. It is a 6-minute and 28-minute song. Most of these songs there are not any songs on this album that are less than 5 minutes. This and Injustice for All would be the last albums where that would be the case. You have Disposable Heroes, that's 8 minutes and 17 seconds long. Orion's a pure ass instrumental, that's 8 minutes and 28 minutes long. Welcome Home is 6 minutes and 28. So they're averaging around 7 minutes a song. Leper Messiah, Damage Incorporated. And it's just, this was one hit after another. Bonus tracks on when they did the digital reissue were a live version of Battery, which I got to see live, and The Thing That Should Not Be the live. This was the middle for them. This was literally their middle album at the time, if you look back on it. And a lot of people remember it for the album that we lost I almost said Kurt Cobain. Almost Cliff Burton. And it almost overshadowed it. It almost overshadowed it. So, by the way, thank you for the $5 super chat, Rational. Metallica died after Justice for All. For anything after has been totally different band. That's a fair. I don't think they died after Injustice for All. I think they evolved because I still, after Injustice for All, my favorite album after that, Black Album. This is the Black Album. The Black Album has a crap ton of stuff. Hold on. What is this? I mean, I think they evolved. They made an album that was commercially accessible to other people and bought people. Guess what? A lot of people whose first album that was a Black Album bought Master of Puppets, bought Injustice for All. They went back into the catalog and became fans. So I think died is a powerful term. I think they evolved. Now what they evolved into, maybe some hardcore fans didn't like, but I don't think they died though. All right, man. Get some sleep. I don't know about skipping them. They're not at the top of my list as far as like regular listens. You know, if they're on, somebody's playing them, I'll listen. But yeah. What the best metal band and why is it Iron Maiden? Iron Maiden's great. Iron Maiden's great. Iron Maiden is, side of the beat. I mean, my Iron Maiden. I grew up. That was one of the. Iron Maiden was one of those bands, and a lot of it because their album covers. To be honest with you, when we were going through Sam Goody or any of these places that sold records at the time, and remember, this is before CDs and everything else. When you're walking in to a place like a warehouse, you're walking into a place and you see some of the stuff that these metal groups are doing on their covers, and it's this big. It was like art, and they knew that was a way to get a kid into their music. When you see Somewhere in Time, the cover for Somewhere in Time is one of the better covers of any metal band of all time, and then it came the music. But yeah, Iron Maiden, I consider Iron Maiden up there as one of the greats. So I don't know about the best, but they were great. I mean, there's a lot of, in order to say you're the best, and by the way, thank you for the $2 super chat. And when you say something's the best, it means you're superseding some other bands, maybe, and that's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's like when people do the whole Mount Rushmore thing. It's tough because you only got 4 slots. Unless you're going to change the rules and give me a whole mountain, then I can do it right. But whenever something is at a level like that, it generally means there's probably more than 4 of them. Like when people are saying give Mount Rushmore of wrestling, okay, yeah, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Vince McMahon, and then some people want to say Steve Austin. But you got a lot of other people that should be on that list as well. So yeah, I'm up there with Iron Maiden. I love Iron Maiden. So when we go. So this band, it preceded Rise of the Lightning came out in 1984, and this would be now technically the Garage Days Revisited, which would be Masters and stuff, came after that in 1987, but their next studio release, full studio release, would be 1988 with Injustice for All, and then the Black Album in 1991. That was when I, like I said, I started to be able to afford to buy my own tapes and stuff. And I didn't have to listen to the bootleg shit because it was years before I knew which songs were on Master of Puppets properly. Because I would borrow a mixtape from somebody. They would tell me, "Hey, I want to, what do you guys listen to? That sounds great." And next day in school, somebody came with a tape with all Metallica shit on it. So you just listen to one song after another. And it wasn't until I could afford to buy my own tapes is when I could be like, oh shit, this is just on this album. There's like this mixtape with, covers like 4 albums. Shit. So my mind was blown. So yeah. 40 years ago, in about a month, this will be a 40-year-old album. Oh my God, this entire thing with 1986 is gonna make me feel like shit, isn't it? Okie dokie. So let's look at what we got here next. Oh, please like, subscribe, guys. If you like the kind of stuff we talk about here, bring other people to the conversation. I love having new people join. All right, so I was kind of trying to hold out for Brad to see if Brad had read Arc M. But we may not get a Brad, so I'm probably just going to have to go into it. So, or actually, you know what? I can go ahead and wait for him because let's do some. Brad wasn't even born when we were going to hit this next one. Aliens. Something else that was released, and this was released later on in 1986. Aliens was released, I believe, in August of 1986 because I remember seeing it. I think it was the same month I saw Transformers the movies. By the way, Transformers the movie is 40 years old too. Poof. Stan Bush in The Touch, 40 years ago. Aliens, for me, it goes up there with it's in my top 5 or top 4 of best sequels ever done. It's up there with Empire Strikes Back. It's up there with Blade Runner 2049. It's up there with Spider-Man 2. Aliens is probably, it's amongst the best sequels ever done. I know a lot of people have a different opinion because it's a different movie than its predecessor. What Ridley Scott was giving a horror movie. I thought that James Cameron was giving a horror movie, but he was adding a military element to it, to the horror. This was a peak movie making here for me in the mid 80s. 12-year-old me ate this up. It would be followed by Alien 3, one of the worst sequels ever made. But Aliens at that time was considered for 1986 a blockbuster. When was Aliens released? Let's see. Aliens was released. Let me bring up my Aliens. '86. Here we go. Bam, images. I don't think, have we done a watch along for Aliens? We need to. And speaking of the guy who was a -1 when this came about, we'll go ahead and get this out the way, and then we'll get to your review. But
when are we going to do? When are we going to do a watch party of that? Because that's like, yeah.
I thought we had. I had lost tracks of the ones we've done. Have we? So we haven't done Aliens.
I think the only Alien thing we've done so far is we've done Alien Earth, and we've done Prometheus, and I think also Alien Covenant. So that's the only one out of the Alien franchise.
We haven't done Aliens yet. Okay, so we need to do it this year because it's been 40 years.
40 years. Awesome. It was actually the first one I saw in the series. I saw it before I even saw the first one. When it was, folks were out that night. That's when I was, I think, just barely still old enough for them to feel they need to leave a babysitter. And
I still can't believe this movie was made for $18 million. I cannot look at that movie.
It's a Cameron movie, no less, made for that little.
And usually when you have stuff for that kind of budget, you can look at it and see the date in it. You can be like, oh, okay, I got it. This movie made $131 million on an $18 million budget, and back when commercials didn't cost you a lot of money, and they weren't doing the kind of stuff that they were to promote movies. You had basically TV spots, and that's it. And when it came to Fox, bartered that. July. This movie was released in July of. So I saw it before.
Yeah, this was about 6 months. Yeah, about 6 months before I was born.
Yeah, I was 12. Actually, no, I was 11. I didn't turn 11 until I didn't turn 12 until September of this year. So 11 me and music was by James Horner, which obviously he would reunite to when he sold out and for Titanic. This movie had it all. Obviously Sigourney Weaver. Let's go down the list. We lost
Michael
Bill
Biehn.
Paxton.
Yeah,
Michael Biehn.
And when Lance Henriksen also finally getting to play a cyborg after he was initially considered for the Terminator in the original, and then
I can't imagine that because it never happened. But damn, that would have been weird.
Well, because the idea of Terminator, of course, is they wanted him to infiltration, a sleeper agent who could like really fly under the radar. So
yeah, bodybuilder wasn't the first choice. Paul Reiser was in this. Michael Biehn, Sigourney Weaver, Paul Reiser, Bill Paxton, rest in peace, Hudson, look into my eye. William Holt Foreman
as Vasquez.
Yeah, she would be in. She would do another Cameron film about 5 years later. She would be in Terminator.
And then Terminator, she was the Irish mother of the two kids in Titanic.
Okay, which completely flew by me. Give two fucks about that. When I went to go see Titanic, I was there because I thought it was going to be obviously it was going to be a spectacle. You hear about this ship all your life, and now this guy's making a movie of it. And I knew it was going to be a love story, and I'm like, oh my god! And I didn't see it on opening day because the teeny boppers were in there, and like, oh Leo, and I'm like, oh my god. So I went to go see this movie because to me there was a special effects element to it. Now, I wanted to see the ship break up. I hear it, we learned about it at school, and they did a masterful job. Everything else about Titanic, I could have, if I had the technology back in 1997, I would have Heath Ledgered it, which basically means I take out the shit in the movie that I care about and fuck everything else. I don't care about the love story.
That's a good third of the movie of the ship, sinking.
Yeah, it's actually about an hour and 10 minutes. It's actually a long part of the movie. And then there's still
that animation at the beginning too. I love they had that animation because then that gives the audience kind of like a way to sort of like demarcate, okay, how far the ship is into the sinking of that.
Yeah, it's kind of lame. But I was like, okay, it's kind of sleazy. Just met this dude on the ship, some total vagabond, homeless stranger, and you just met, you're banging, you're fucking on the boat. I guess diseases, no big deal back then.
They met 4 days ago.
Yeah, whatever. That's kind of sleazy. And then you love him so much, you let him die. But anyway, we're talking about a real James Cameron movie, a man's movie. I'm just kidding. This movie, it's fortunate and unfortunate in a way because it sets the stage for what could have been a great franchise. Instead, we got Alien 3, and then years later we would get Alien versus Predator, and it's just now. And then, in my opinion, we are just now getting back to what the path Ridley Scott and James Cameron set us on 40 years ago. So everything about this movie was intense. Especially, I remember when they're in there, you could feel the tension. And when the walls started moving because the walls were the aliens, that's when you're like, oh shit. This movie, by the way,
I think there were only because Cameron does a really great job of making you think there's just like this whole like just hive of xenomorphs.
Yeah, he didn't have that many. Yeah,
I think there was only like 6 or 7 like suits, like other than the Queen that he had. So like he had to like reuse the suits, like a bunch of different angles to make the population of xenomorphs seem a lot bigger than it was.
Yeah, and he does angles and he redoes them and he sprays them. Yeah, he knew how to use stagecraft before he could print the money. This movie was epic, man. This movie was one of the like I was telling before you popped in, one of the few sequels that in my opinion compete with the predecessor for best of the two. It's like Empire Strikes Back. It's like 2049. It's like Spider-Man 2. Things escalated with this one.
Well, and like I said, of the series, it was the first one I saw. Like I saw Aliens before I saw Alien.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you saw that what 90s?
Yeah, it was like I saw it after it came out. I was about 13 years old when I first saw it. For whatever reason, I didn't have a lot. I've talked about like parents, my folks having like fight for a lot of R-rated movies for whatever reason. They never really put up much of a fight with the Alien movies.
Yeah, see, my dad took me to this one. He took me to this one, and because once my mom started flying for Continental Airlines, she was gone a lot. So it was me and my dad. My sister. I forgot where my sister was, but we were, we would be the ones to go to the movies. And I remember seeing aliens. Aliens. This was after, I think. When was Howard the Duck released? I think he wanted to see aliens.
I think it was within. I was actually probably pretty close. Let me look it up.
I think it was before this, because I don't think I would have been.
Howard was like 2 weeks after this. It was August 1st.
Oh, was it? Okay, cool. So my credibility hadn't been destroyed yet when it came to picking the movies. But Aliens is an all-time great. I mean, Sigourney Weaver and the whole, there was a lot of women clung to this movie because of
she got an Oscar nomination for Best Actress for her performance in.
Had no chance of winning, but
I mean, back then, I think there definitely was much more of an uphill battle for horror movies and sci-fi.
It is now.
Well, yeah, but much more so, I would say, at this stage.
Yeah, but it still sucks. By the way, guys, when it comes to the Oscars, we're going to. I can't see me talking about the Oscars that much.
Well, did you see the thing Aaron Taddison about Sinners potentially getting like 15? That would be like the record number of nominations. 15,
yeah, and that's just good. So 15 times. If I watch that show, I get to watch him get screwed 15 times. Yeah. I think I'll find something better to do with my time.
You think Sinners might, pull Silence of the Lambs and get Best Picture?
Nope. Because now I'm seeing these movies out of nowhere. Marty Supreme, which I have no desire to see. I can't get through 15 minutes of one battle after another, and it seems like that's the kind of movie that's tailor made for this bullshit ceremony. This shit that comes out of nowhere. That it's the greatest thing. And don't get me wrong, I like Timothée Chalamet. I think that if his movie would have gotten released when it was supposed to, I think he beats Cillian Murphy for Best Actor. Dune 2 is released when it was supposed to release. That's one of the awards that I think Oppenheimer loses. I think that Robert Downey Jr. wins no matter what. But as far as best movie and all this other stuff that Oppenheimer won, I think it competes heavily. And one of the awards I think that they would have lost out on would have been Timothée Chalamet. And I think he'll win it for Dune 3. But I think he could win it for this one. And like I said, every now, like I said, you think things are looking good, and all of a sudden, at the end of the cycle, these human interest, wild ass, batshit crazy movies that nobody sees comes out, and now here we are with
have they released the nominees for this year yet?
Not yet, no. But generally, you're pretty much you're pretty much looking at the same movies that are being nominated right now. Fuck Conrad David.
Bell Rose got kind of a hot take here. Aliens. Oh, I am so no. Aliens is the best of the series in my book. Aliens. I have kind of a tradition. I have Aliens on every summer. I have Aliens on every single year. It's an annual one for me.
The 90210 thing. I don't get that. I don't. Everything. Listen, movies are going to have young people in them. 90210 was a fucking sleazy show, and Melrose Place. I don't see the comparisons with 90210. If it had, you're going to have young people in their 20s in these movies and these shows. That's really the only thing that they have in common with 90210 is that you have actors and actresses that are in their 20s. Some of those people are in their 30s. So I don't get where you're going there with that one, Clint.
By the way, also since we're talking about aliens,
trash.
You mentioned the score, I didn't like Resurrection. So, one of the score, specifically the snippet, Bishop's Countdown, that was in the little bit in the trailer, and it's of course in the finale of the movie itself, and it became such a staple of trailers. I mean, there's so many trailers that use Bishop's Countdown to great effect. There's actually one. one of my favorite ones actually. It's technically not even like a real trailer. It was when Age of Ultron was coming out, and it was one of those like if this came out in the '90s kind of things for like a VHS fan trailer, and they used Bishop's Countdown for that. It's really really good. I'll put in the chat for you guys.
Don't remember. I'll have to click on it when you do. Let's see. Yeah, it was a blockbuster for that era. I really, like I said, it kid me. The '80s was like the Alien Resurrection was trash. Let's see. Okay, if you guys didn't like Alien Earth, I understand, but the 90210 pair comparison is kind of disrespectful because that's not that's not that these shows. It's just because a show has kids in it or considered kids by our standards. That's not 90210. Did you guys watch 90210? I mean, I don't know.
Okay, I just put the Age of Ultron '95 VHS trailer with Bishop's Countdown in the chat for you guys who want to give that a look.
Okay, because I don't remember this.
They even altered like the footage for it to make it look like this was like a VHS of the Play-Doh run over.
Where did you see this from?
Well, actually, it's New York Magazine. Apparently, had somebody do this or Vulture. You want to go ahead and pull it up?
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
No, because we're gonna get taken down because it belongs to somebody.
I put in the chat. But yeah, this was like a month before Age of Ultron came out.
Oh, okay. I don't remember, but that Age of Ultron was like 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. So yeah, Alien. I mean, I can't say enough about Aliens. Dark Horse really. This is where Dark Horse and Fox got together and they made the Alien series. And then they did Aliens versus Predator the right way instead of the junk we would get in the 2000s.
I was around that time too when the trailer I'm talking about came out. That's when we got the announcement of Blumkamp. He was going to do like the direct sequel to Aliens that never got off the ground. Man, that pisses me off. I was really looking forward to that.
Here's the thing, though. You were going to get that or Prometheus.
But Prometheus came out 4 years prior.
That was the decision was between that and Prometheus, though. And continuing with that, because remember, the decision not to do that was made at the same time, wasn't it? I don't think there was no separation between that. Because really,
Prometheus was like 2012, and then he got announced for that 2015, and then a couple of years of nothing, and then he confirms, it's not moving forward.
Yeah, because he was continuing along with what Prometheus was doing, Covenant and everything else. And there was supposed to be a third one, Paradise. And all those would have taken place between 2012 and 2019. So anything in between there was not going to happen. So once you decided on Prometheus, you weren't getting other movies. Because really, listen, Fox can say, "Hey, we're in talks with this guy and this guy and this guy." They've given that decision-making process, for better or for worse, to Ridley Scott. If Ridley Scott says thumbs down, then it ain't happening. And he was in the middle of what he was trying to make as a trilogy with Prometheus, because there was supposed to be a third movie. Remember the third movie that got announced? That was supposed to be Paradise.
By the way, there's another one. The Blumkamp was also going to do RoboCop. He's
got that one. We talked about this before. I could do without another RoboCop. But listen, let the 80s go with that. Let the 80s go with that. But Blumkamp, there was other reasons why. Ultimately, it was Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott said no to that. That's like, if there's anybody, that's going to say no to something, it's him. It's his baby. They still defer to, even with Blade Runner, they still defer to Ridley Scott when it came out in 2099. He's a consultant on that. He's an executive producer on that. He's not just an executive producer in name, though. He's actually a decision maker. So that's why, and I think Neil Blomkamp had kind of had a mad on for him over that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I mean, who the hell would? You're Neil Blomkamp. He's Ridley Scott. Sorry. Sorry, you're going to lose that battle 7 days a week, twice on Sundays, especially when it's Fox and at Fox at the time. because that they weren't owned by anybody. But I mean, I wouldn't have mind seeing it. But the problem with his idea, it was too late. It was too late. I actually, as much as I wanted to see what he was doing, I think it would have bombed because it was too late, and you had too many bad alien movies in between that. If his movie would have came out in 1993 instead of that Drek, if his had been Alien 3, deal right there. I don't think the prospects for that movie were good because it was too much time in between where it was trying to follow up on, and B, you had too many bad Alien movies in between there for that to work. So, dude, he had a couple things going against him. But yeah, if it had came out in 1993 instead of Alien 3 squared, whatever the shit that was, you'd have probably had something. But in between then, you had Alien Resurrection, you had Alien 3, you had, Alien versus Predator, then you had Alien versus Predator Requiem, and now, if you would have came back with another Xenomorph, I don't know what the prospects would have been. Whereas Ridley Scott didn't come back with a Xenomorph. He came back with a whole lot of other gross shit that worked. Still, and that is the highest grossing Alien movie, by the way. So I hear about Neil Blomkamp's script, and I'm like, if I had a TARDIS to take him back to 1993, let's go, let's do it. In the 20 teens where he wanted to do it, no, I think that movie would have bombed. And that would have fucked up the franchise, and we would have been even further back than we had to. Because you realize the Alien franchise had to crawl back from a lot of shit. Same thing with the Predator franchise. So I think a movie like that would have been a nostalgia type situation, and I don't know if anyone would have been there for it. But like I said, I don't even know if there's ever a place for it now. Where would you put that movie? What era of Alien would you ever, other than right after?
That was intended. I mean, that's like it's pretty self-explanatory.
No. Other than 1993, because that's the only year you could have released it where it would have worked. Where else after 1993 are you releasing that movie? With all the movies that they released, especially after Resurrection. Oh my God, vomited in my mouth just mentioning that movie. After Resurrection and after all that stuff. At what point do you release that movie where it's you could talk a bunch of financiers into saying, yeah, give me at least a decent budget for this movie? I mean, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I as somebody who loved this movie that we just talked about, what he was doing was closer to this than Resurrection and the Dog Alien and all the other shit that came out. But this just wasn't the time for it, and I don't think it would have been a good idea personally. To release it, then I mean, even the stuff that Sigourney Weaver's talking about now, where are we going to go with that? It's at some point you got to move forward with the franchise, and unfortunately, there just wasn't the time for it. Imagine better if I try to.
You might get that now after Predator Badlands. That sprinkled some seeds of Alien without being.
I don't think you're going to get an AVP like that, though, because that was like you may get, what you will get is stuff that naturally comes together, but not forced like AVP. AVP was forced. You may get two different distinct storylines with elements of each other in it, but I don't think Alvarez or him will force it like that, I think that was
something I was kind of thinking, which, by the way, we need to watch Party of Badlands, too, because that's on digital now.
I thought we did. Did we do a Badlands now? Oh, geez.
No, we did one.
Dude, I got all of our shit, dude.
We did one for Killer of Killers. We both seen Badlands. We haven't done a watch party for Badlands, but yeah, it was Killer of Killers the watch party for. But I was thinking, because it's on digital now, I was thinking a little bit about kind of like the way it ends, and I think that actually maybe kind of sets up a little bit of a segue for how they could move into like an AVP situation. Because
stop right there. Stop. I think the best thing we could do is just to get AVP out of our head, just that whole concept of AVP, because that's the forced version of it. That's why it didn't work for me. Aliens of Weyland-Yutani and things. I get where you're going, but that needs to be like thrown away as the blueprint or as the.
But see, the thing the way I see it, kind of maybe happening after Badlands, because the whole premise of Badlands is that he has to go to the to Genna and hunt down the Kalisk, to restore his honor within his clan and avenge his brother, and then he takes out his father at the end. It's like, okay, now he's kind of establishing his own tribe, and then the ship is getting there, and he says, "That's my mother." So he's expecting some kind of reprimand for that. And I kind of thought maybe something you could do with that is that she says, okay, good job to you standing up to your old man, but now you got to prove yourself to me. So go get a xenomorph.
And the woman, to me, that's forced. I think that's forced. And that's what the problem is like the whole let's take my favorite action figure from this toy box and my favorite action figure and let's just ram their heads together. That's not a story. That's an attraction. That's not a story. So yeah, I hope if it happens within the flow of the story and it doesn't, because you'll know if it feels forced. You'll see, oh shit, here we go again. Because you can feel it in AVP and record.
Well, I mean, with Thea and with the whole Wayland Yutani, because again, Wayland Yutani, there are no like alien characters in it. There's actually no human characters in it. In fact, here's an interesting too, because another thing that got a lot of commentary with Badlands was the PG-13 rating, which is, it's not a detriment on
fraud.
Well, for those of you who haven't seen it, if you think it's going to be very watered down Predator, it's not. The only reason is because there's no red blood. But there's still creatures getting slashed and torn apart and
decapitation, homie.
Yeah,
keep it left the bottom.
But here's the other part. Here's the other thing about that too: the way they were able to skirt by with a PG-13, because again, there's no actual human characters. All the quote unquote humans are Wayland Yutani droids, and go back.
Bleed, by the way, they bleed.
Yeah, they bleed Elmer's glue, but they bleed.
We have related that enough to blood. I mean, when you see her harmed, when he needs
her, he picks up like half a body.
Yeah, it's
that fight scene with her, like her legs like walking through like the
her legs are doing the shit.
I love that. But the other thing that I realized how they were able to skirt by with the PG-13 is that because there's no humans, there is almost no profanity in Badlands. There's I think one use of shit, but that's it. It's like Alien, Predator. They're all full of F-bombs. Not so with Badlands, but the way it's structured, it's very deceptive because it technically it skirts by on the PG-13 criteria, but again it does so. It's a Trojan horse. It's like, okay, it's not humans getting ripped apart and getting slashed and getting the blood flying everywhere, but it's still a lot of bloodshed in it, and because there's no humans, nobody's really swearing a lot. So that's how they did it.
I'm looking up that Blomkamp thing because I remember there was a big deal about that, and I think our times are off on that one.
Yeah, again, that was 2015. I remember that very very clearly. That was 2015 because he just had what I consider his most.
It never got greenlit though.
Well, it got announced, and it was on Chappie. Our namesake of our friend Chappie. That's the night it came out, and like around that time, that was also it was like right to the lead up to at least Chappie was when it was called Alien Awakening, I think. It was announced. Yeah, Chappie was really underrated, I thought. I'm with you, Chappie, on Chappie.
Because Prometheus came out, and that came out between that would have been, if it were announced, between Prometheus and Covenant. That Ridley was probably looking for a harpoon to kill that whale peacefully. He euthanized it is what he did. But to me, honestly, like I think,
and then he went on and made House of Gucci.
Yeah, but he also made Covenant, which was not better than Prometheus, but I think in Paradise, I wanted to see that third part of that trilogy. I wanted to see that. Now I think Fede Alvarez wants to see it too. So we may not get a movie, but I think we're going to get we'll get answers to those questions, in my opinion. So, all right, 2012. So yeah, But yeah, a lot of people. But like I said, he had some choice words to say about Ridley Scott. You know, Ridley Scott didn't give a shit. He's like, yeah, okay. Like I said, I'm Ridley Scott.
I mean, well, you wouldn't when you're trying to get something off the ground. You wouldn't if somebody else euthanizes it.
If it's the guy who created it, and you wouldn't have had the opportunity to even be mentioned in it, then yeah, I mean, maybe.
Well, if I had the choice between being euthanized by Cameron or Scott, I'll take Cameron.
Ridley Scott is up there. So yeah, like I said, I mean, he has the power to say yay or nay when it comes to those things. And he said nay. It's like, you know, and if Neil Blomkamp was of that stature, then he would be the guy you don't say no to. But they said no to him, and that's it. I like I said, I think it's a mixed bag, simply because of the pure fact that it was a good story. It came too late, and I don't think it would have worked. I think that would have been a costly decision to go forward with that in 2015 or beyond that. Because you're reaching back at that point. We're talking about what, 19 years? No, not even more than that. Because it would have been a successor to Aliens that came out in 1986. So
probably, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we're talking 30 years, dude.
Probably what they're gonna do. It was gonna have they might have even done some de-aging in it, but I can't confirm this, but probably I think what the plan was is they would have kind of an opening prologue showing, okay, they're in cryostasis, they're getting back to Earth, and then you have a 20-year time jump or something like that. That's what I think probably would have happened. Because also, I mean, Newt's not a kid anymore.
Well, the problem, it's not just yeah. You probably have to get somebody else.
She's I think too. So
the problem with that is it's not just the aging; it's the time in between, the relevancy of the story. I mean, not everything is going to be Top Gun Maverick. You know what I mean? And like I said, Top Gun Maverick didn't have bad movies released in between. There was no Top Gun Resurrection. There was no Top Gun, some shitty ones like some of the ones that they've had. So you have time going against you, relevancy going against you, and the fact that, some of the movies that were released in the interim weren't very good. So yeah, it sounds great on paper, but now let's take off the fanboy ears and put on the investor ears. Now shit gets real, and it gets real scary. So as somebody who thinks that what they did to Newt in in that movie was a crime.
That shit.
Was a crime. I would have much preferred. I wish, like I said, I wish I could time travel him and put him in.
That's the one thing about the production of Alien 3 where I don't have any sympathy for David Fincher.
Well, I don't think. I mean, he was wasn't he? He was still a young director. That was his first movie. I don't know how much power. Yeah. I don't know how much power he had. That's the one part of that whole calamity where I say it's no, dude, this is on you. Who wrote the script for that? Because he don't like that movie.
Oh yeah, he it was written by David Giler, Walter Hill, and Larry Ferguson from a story by Ward.
Yeah, so he was just a director. I don't think he had a lot of creative on that. I mean, he had a lot of creative how it was executed, but as far as Newton and being there, being alive, I remember watching that, and because I didn't know, until I saw the movie. They didn't give a lot of that away back in the day, right?
Well, they didn't. It's actually one of the things where I like to think that Alien 3 is one of the things that made me have more savvy, how I kind of deduce things or what may or may not happen for trailers. Because I mean, go back and watch trailers. There's no Hicks, there's no Newt, so that kind of and there's no Michael Biehn and Carrie Henn aren't in it, so that tells you are they? It's when there's a red flag there, and that's what makes it so. That's what makes it so infuriating about that is the whole thing. They became this family unit, through their survival, getting out of that colony and making it back to. Hicks getting his face burned, and Ripley becomes a surrogate mother, and then just within they just get the cryo.
Kind of Godzilla -1.
Yeah,
it's kind of like -1 if you look at it.
Yeah, well,
Not
yeah,
as
but
they're a little bit different of a war story, but I like I said, Aliens is one of the
Mike is
greats.
alive at the end though, -1.
That's true. You know,
Because Alien
but
3 just pulls the rug out from under it, just snatches defeat from the jaws of
it's
death.
a horrible movie. And like I said, I wish I could take the Bloomcamp's script and all that stuff. I wish I could transport him. Like, get in the TARDIS, dude. Don't ask me where we're going, but you're gonna like it. And but yeah, I think it would have been. And I know it's not a popular thing to say when you hear about somebody's script getting killed, but you have to consider everything that was happening around the Alien franchise at that time. And that script, I don't think would have been the right decision. Not saying it was a bad script or anything like that, because his idea and his premise was like, oh, every time I think about it, I'm like, well, goddamn, that's what we need.
Sigourney Weaver was like really cheerleading it.
Yeah, she's still true. And by the way, she still looks good for
Yeah, she's
she
pushing
just turned
80.
70. Huh? No,
pushing
she's
80, I
70.
think.
How old is Sigourney Weaver? Oh shit, is she 80?
Yeah.
No, she wasn't 40 when that movie came out, was she?
She's no, she just turned 76.
Oh, okay. That's Dave. We're in the middle. Yeah, I mean, she still looks great though. I mean, look, she's in Grogu. She's fucking around with Grogu in them now.
Yeah.
Okay, it's taking me. We're okay. Hold on. It is a special time of the week, right, guys? It's the Fat Burger is in route.
Oh,
and
good
I have
news.
to go. Shut the hell up. I have to go.
I would think that you'd be bracing yourself for that at this point.
No, because I'm not going to be held accountable for your bad joke making.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you at?
Fourth says the script for Alien 3 was in rewrite hell. Yeah, that's true. It was a situation where it's like the first two were so successful, nobody could agree on what they wanted Alien 3 to be. Hicks was set to be in the movie until he got a call saying he was out because script change. Yeah, like at one point they had this idea for like a planet made like all out of wood. Then there was a concept of like it taking place on this monastery on another planet, and that you kind of still had that in the Alien 3 with the idea like the prisoners. They've taken on Christianity, so yeah, there are things about Alien 3 I do appreciate. I don't think Alien 3 is a total loss, but the Hicks and Newt thing, that's unforgivable. William's gonna love this. She looked her best in Galaxy Quest. She does. Yeah, she's looking at that.
Who do I have to time out? Who the fuck do I have to time out?
Bell Rev. Well. I mean, look at her in Galaxy Quest. Is she wrong?
Oh, okay. Hey, this is William. Where are you at right now? I'm going to try to walk you in, lead you in. What's say that again? Yeah, it's Liberace turns into Karen. Karen and Liberace are in the same street. So if you once you turn on Karen and you're headed eastbound, correct? Okay.
Rev says, "I love the tone that Ridley Scott set for the prequels." Yeah. Well, then I mean, like with that, you could definitely tell it was very much harkening back to the kind of the more horror tone of an Alien, because Aliens took in the series into to action territory, and Alien is, and that's one of the things I love so much about the relationship with the kind of like the transition from Alien to Aliens, is that Alien is very much a horror movie, and Aliens moves into action. It's kind of like what happened with Terminator. The original Terminator, it's a horror movie, and then you get to T2, and then it jumps into action. So something Cameron's really good at. Made up. Yeah, you're talking about Badlands. Oh yeah, I agree. Don't get started. Don't get me or William started. We both loathe the Predator from 2018. That is the worst of both series in my book. That's the worst Alien movie. That is the worst Predator movie. Is the Predator. I'm gonna leave that up. I'm gonna show that to William when he comes back. Yes. Need a 90s classic to watch with my husband. Any recommendations? Well, since we are kind of on a little bit on a camera and kind of talk tonight, I mean, True Lives, maybe. True Lives, that's the only thing he did that's action, but not sci-fi. So, True Lives, yeah. I'd say True Lives, since we're talking about Cameron tonight. Or Terminator 2. What else we got? 90s. Speed. Also Speed. I think Keanu's after Point Break, his beginnings as an action star. Speed, I always loved. And if you want Brad and Aaron to give us some martial arts 90s recommendations. Already watched Speed? Okay. Trying to think what else is like a 90s classic. That was like Van Damme in his heyday. So definitely anything Van Damme, like The Quest. The Quest is awesome. Hard Target's also is the one he did with John Woo. Yeah, Hard Target. I wasn't big on Double Impact. That wasn't. I didn't hate it, but it was actually the first Van Damme movie I saw. But maybe I need to revisit that too. Maybe I'll like it more now. It's like It's like my first Van Damme movie, but I didn't. It wasn't like kind of part of his Hall of Fame run. I had to get a few movies deep with Van Damme before I kind of like started. But like Kickboxer, once I first saw Kickboxer, that was oh man, I was all about Kickboxer, and then Bloodsport. Oh yeah, yeah, Black Mask. That's a Hong Kong 90s classic. Now, if you can't import it, you're gonna listen to the worst English dub of all time in Black Mask, and a hip hop soundtrack they put into it, which is so. It's like, what the hell were they doing with that dub? That dub is horrible. See, it's because it came out not long after Jet Li was in Lethal Weapon 4, and it was when Romeo Must Die. I think around that when it was coming out. That was when they were like trying to like really kind of like intermingle like rap and martial arts, and that was kind of a trend for a while. And so I guess they figured with the dub, we'll just like put like a lot of like record scratching shit. It's like, but it's so removed from like the the culture of Hong Kong. So yeah, I love it, but it's got a terrible, terrible, terrible English dub. Yeah, Van Damme. Yeah, I'm a pretty Van Damme fan. I'm telling you, Belro, it's like Aaron and I, we can like take you down the rabbit hole of martial arts flicks if you want us to. We're look up The Furious, by the way, Belrev, that William like gets annoyed whenever I bring up. That is my number one that I'm looking forward to of anything right now. Anything. The Furious, just not the Fast and the Furious, just The Furious. Look it up. Look it up right now. Look it up right now, Belrev. I'm telling you. I interviewed the director. The Furious from Hong Kong. It'll be rad. Okay.
All right. Oh,
Last Boy Scout. Yeah. That was Bruce Willis too. That's a Die Hard heyday.
North.
What else we got? Force since I've gotten over the Newt and Hicks death. For me, it's just part of survival horror in this world that they Yeah, but you didn't see Ripley's daughter all through Alien, and you didn't see her survive Alien. Is the point? It's because they made it out intact in Aliens, and we get like 5 minutes into Alien 3, and just it's like the lungs flooded with fluid. Ergo, she drowned. Come on. Can't punch us in the gut like that right out of the gate. Makes rather The Furious. Yeah, well, he's he's off getting the fat burger now. So it's like my show. I like martial arts films. No. Bell Rev's husband. Get your act together, my man. Yeah, but Bell, look up The Furious. In fact, I'm gonna put the clip. They haven't put out a trailer for it yet, but I'm gonna put the clip they put out because it was shown at Toronto International Film Festival. It's gonna come out this year. I want to put the clip in there so you can give it a look, Bell Rev. Just kind of see a little tiny teaser of what we're in for with The Furious. There you go, Bell Rev, right here. Clip from The Furious. Give it a look.
Okay.
Little snippet. Gattaca 97.
This is in the middle of the plaza. I'm in a building that's in there. I'm in the back building on the double decker. If you just want to Google the Sci-Fi Center, that's where I'm at. That's what my business. That's where
God, I watched Speed so many times growing up. I love Speed.
Okay.
Speed 2 is terrible. Oh, I hate Speed 2. Like, hey, we got the bus that can't go below 50. Let's put it on a boat that can't go above 30.
She's downstairs from me.
Yeah, Speed 2 sucks. Speed first one's awesome.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me know.
Driver's lost. That burger's gonna be gone. Yeah. Actually, perfect comment to come back on. Bell or Azteca says, "Driver's lost. That burger's gonna be cold."
Nah, it should be all right. Plus, microwave, it'll be fine. Nobody's ever got. Listen, they never get lost. That's the first time. This is the first time I got somebody that's gotten lost. And he's way the fuck. That motherfucker's by the strip. I'm like, no, dude, you gotta turn around.
Belle had one. Let me go see if I can find this one. Yeah, she had one. I want to go back to real quick. Where is that? Okay, I love. Are you talking about Badlands? Oh yeah, because she said where
is she talking about the Predator?
No, she said I think she's talking about Badlands because she said it made up for the Predator, and that's right.
Yeah, that was almost.
Don't get William and I started on here. We both mutually. I think that's probably the movie we discussed here. We both mutually hate the most.
Yeah, that's an awful movie.
That is the worst of Alien, worst of Predator in my book.
All right, now what we are going to do, the last thing on the thumbnail, is the monkey. Unfortunately have not got a chance to see this movie. I want to see this movie. But this is, dude,
compensate for the big letdown of us.
Yeah. Did it?
Yes. So we're of course be discussing the release of PRIMATE. I just went and saw a few hours ago. Basically, it just gonna give you a little kind of cliff notes of it. These kids, all meet up. The friends like get off a plane and meet up with some friends in Hawaii. They go to one of the girls' houses, and her father has like a pet chimp, and the chimp has been bitten by some animal. It's got rabies, so the chimp is.
Oh, it's Cujo. This is Cujo.
Yeah, yes, it's Donkey Kong Cujo. That was what I was kind of dubbing it in my head coming out. I was like, this is Donkey Kong Cujo. So yeah, the chimp gets loose, and it's like okay, now there's fighting for their survival. So are you playing the trailer? Oh, okay.
No, I just wanted to have an imagery.
This image is very evocative of the movie itself because overall I definitely dug it. It's actually the first new movie I've seen because I saw Temple of Doom or release of that was the first thing I saw. Like the last movie I saw over break, but before it was after New Year, before break ended. So this is the first new release I'd seen this year, and overall pretty effective. Creature feature, slasher movie kind of hybrid. William has talked about at length about his disappointment with the in fact, I'll go ahead and let you describe that part in Us, man.
Oh no, you open up the movie of Us with a monkey going crazy and fucking up everybody. I mean, he's rolling around, he's beating the hell out of people. There's blood everywhere, and then there's a kid who ends up being a relevant part of the movie who I could have traded out for the monkey, but he's under the table after the monkey's just gone completely crazy and killed everybody and beat
So it shows you
everybody.
the aftermath of the chimp, like
Yeah, it shows the aftermath, and then he reaches out to the kid's hand, and then they shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay,
well, William, I can assure you that is not how this movie plays out. Like everything you were like hoping to see, like the chimp, going nuts. It's like you definitely.
because chimps are dangerous. If chimps can rip you apart, there's no doubt. A chimpanzee can rip you apart.
You get a smorgasbord of that in this movie. The first thing,
are their limbs ripped off?
Their jaws pulled off. The first one is a guy going in the cage to kind of medicate the chimp, and chimp pulls him in, and like this dark corner, camera falls in, face getting peeled off like a banana peel. So it's a lot of that, a lot of again, it's like the shorthand I would give this, it's Donkey Kong Cujo. So a lot of if you as William was were let down by that.
I mean, you never saw the monkey again.
Exactly. So, Ford says, but he's saying you didn't have the monkeying around, basically. So, you definitely get that in a Primate. If you're in the mood to see like a slasher movie or a monster movie where it's again this is a very Cujo-esque kind of thing where it's like the chimp has rabies and it's just going nuts on all this house full of kids, and it even kind of like develops a little bit of like they almost kind of anthropomorphize the chimp, because there's a lot of points where he has somebody cornered and he takes his time with a lot. He'll have somebody like backed up against the wall or like behind a curtain or in a car. The one in the car is really really interesting because he actually has the I don't know if I should spoil this, but it's the one in the car is that he that's where he kind of like, I think they just kind of dodge beneath like the threshold of like a plausibility of that. But the one in the car I think is probably the one people are going to be talking about a lot, because there's something that happens with that that's a little bit like, okay, it reminded me a little bit like one part in Scream where Sydney's in the car and she's trying to start the car, she doesn't have the keys, and Ghostface taps on the glass with the knife and like just dangles the keys in front of her. Something somewhat similar happens with that. I'll just leave it at that. But overall, yes, I did enjoy Primate. I think William, you definitely very much will. This absolutely compensates for what happened with the lack of the monkey carnage and us, and then some. She's definitely going to get that out of this, man.
Wow.
Did you hear all that?
What's up?
Did you hear all that? I was describing?
No, I had to lead the guy in because he was still up.
Okay. Yeah. So I was saying it's like this definitely compensates and then some for like the absence of the monkey carnage in us in that one sequence. And they're I was telling them there are a lot of parts in it where they give the almost like a Michael Myers kind of quality of this chimp, where there are parts or like a Freddy Krueger or just a kind of like a slasher movie villain side of it where he'll have somebody cornered, and because this is not how rabid animals like attack. You know, they go nuts. They just that looks like a really good burger, man.
I'm ignoring you.
But you know, when they're rabid animals, you know, they're feral, they're out of control, and they're part. And he very much is that in Primate. But there's also a lot of parts where he'll have somebody cornered, and he'll take his time. He goes out of his way to like really put the fear of God in them before he finally just goes nuts. And there's one I mentioned that's it reminded me of a little bit of Scream, where he has somebody trapped in a car, and I'll kind of leave the specifics of that out, but yeah. So overall, I definitely dug Primate as a survival rabid animal, you know, kind of again Cujo with a chimp. So if you're interested at all in that pitch, I think you will definitely dig Primate. If you are like William and there's a section involving a chimp in Us that was not to your satisfaction, this movie compensates in spades for that.
Oh, make no mistake, that wasn't the only problem with Us. There was a lot of problems with Us. That was just one of them.
That is, I think, is Jordan Peele. I think that out of his 3 he's done so far, that is, I didn't dislike it. But I do think that's the weakest of the 3 is Us.
Yeah, I was hugely disappointed. Good character build, all kinds of stuff that was with it, but yeah. All right. Did you read Arkham yet?
Arkham? No, I have not had a chance to. So.
I did, but I'm going to use the restroom, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to review Arkham, creepiest comic book of the year, and that's saying something in its history.
Yeah.
Right back.
Okay. So you guys got me again talking, and Phil Wing is back talking about Furious. Bell Rep, you watched that clip yet? I'm telling you, it's like rad. It's the number one. Aaron and I, and the movie for anticipation this year. I will not shut up about it until I get that trailer and that release date. It is going to be out of this world. Okay. Oh, so you guys got it. Prey. Yeah, Prey did too. Prey really kind of, and that didn't even come that long after The Predator. That was like 4 years later. But that really was a great, reversal of fortunes from The Predator. The Predator is so bad. I mean, it's like I still look back on like how much I was looking forward to that, and just how much it just face planted. Predator has just come back with a vengeance since The Predator. It's crazy. So and then like the Badlands kind of culminates that renaissance that started with Prey, continued in Killer of Killers. Now we get the Badlands with it. When I see Primate, I always think of the movie Us, but it's about the monkey in the beginning. Again, this is that sequence. If it actually showed the chimp going apeshit. Us or Nope. 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 It was it was Us. This was the last one. Was Nope. Us. I think Us actually is probably the one of Jordan Peele's I like the most. I love the ending of Us too. Williams like we part ways big time on that. That ending was such an awesome twist in Us. Which those of you don't know, it's like well, I'll leave it unspoiled for those of you who haven't seen it. But yeah, Us I really dug, and the twist was pretty awesome. Get Out was pretty good too. Yeah, Nope. Again, I did not like Nope, but it didn't quite like hit the same bar as Get Out and Us had for me. That's just me though. That's just me. William Brad, director Primate, Johannes Roberts praised Walter Myers, so he knows his stuff. Yeah. And I know somebody's gonna like watching this right now is gonna say, "Well, okay, I thought you still with Ray Fisher. Why you wouldn't saw like Walter Hamada's thing?" Like, shut up. Shut up. I don't have to like the guy. I mean, he's back doing what he was good at now. He started out in horror movies. He went to DC. That was a total disaster for him. Now he's back doing horror movies, which is what he was good at. Stick with what you're good at.
Talk about Hamada. Hamada was a bad hire. I don't blame that on Hamada. I blame that on people who hired him. All right, so let's see here. Okie dokie. All right, so yeah, this comic was kind of fucked up in ways that the Absloute PC mess with things a little bit. So this is a spoiler review. All right, so let me go ahead and put my spoiler thing up here because some of you have sold out, and so some of you have not had a chance to read it. Now, when you see, oops, Yeah, okay, there we go. When you see that, can you take that off real quick? Your rational, so I can see the banner. Okay. All right. So viewers, when you see that banner go away, that's when I'm done spoiling for you.
I feel.
What's that? Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, it's great. Let me make sure that nobody's sending me any message that wants to either talk about it or whatever. All right, so it starts out in the normal Arkham history, but they lose him, and then the mother, the patriarch. I'm paraphrasing a lot because you really need to read this. The mother then turns around and later on kills her 3 kids. One of them, which is Dr. Arkham, kills the 2 kids and herself, leaves him alive. So that's where his mental health, the fixed mental health journey starts. It gets kind of weird and twisted from there, and then it gets handed down, and there's implications of a whole bunch of other stuff. So like I said, I'm really. I really don't want to open it up. I'm really bad at paraphrasing what I've read, because there are certain aspects of it. I don't get any fingerprints of it. So, yeah, it basically starts out as him founding Arkham, him having a mysterious benefactor that keeps it open because they're not getting patients because the type of people that he tries to treat, they're not in abundance. This is right here. This is it. Well, I can scroll down. I have the damn comic on the screen. This is probably one of the creepier aspects about it is when the mother just goes crazy. There she goes. Kills her 2 kids. So there you go, right there. Shoots the kids, then kills herself. Kills him too. Kills him. So that's where his trauma begins. And he spends his whole life wondering why did she leave me alive? He grows up in an orphan. So a lot of this basically tells Dr. Arkham growing up in an orphanage. His dream was to help people like his mother because his mother was clearly mentally ill. So there, here in this frame, you see the plans for Arkham, which would become Arkham Asylum. So a lot of this goes along, the route of what's been told about him already, and then come on, scroll down. It's good getting building up his hospital. There's Arkham Asylum. It's built. And Arkham, everything I wanted it to be a good facility with a full staff and like-minded individuals getting patients the help that they so desperately needed. Even those patients who, with Gotham being Gotham, were a bit more, shall I say, eccentrics, and you see a lot of the people in there. Gotham, news clippings. Gotham man turns tragedy into triumphs, and he's like, Arkham was not without its issues. In those initial years, one issue in particular, a man so vile and heinous, I will not even utter his name. Let's call him Jack Doe for purposes. Now, keep in mind, Jack Doe, Jack Grimm from Batman, Absolute Batman 15. There's a twist here, though. There's this Jack Grimm guy who's basically, we're led to believe, is an early version of the Joker, given what we know about the Joker from him being basically ages from the Absolute Batman number 15. Let's see, but there was a lot of things that were about the place that were just weird. Let's see. All right, 1885. Was the night he arrived. Covered in blood, so much blood that even the rain couldn't wash him away. And that's the Jack Grimm character. How did he get that way? Whose blood was it? The boy claimed he did not know, but it was clear he had suffered greatly in life. An orphan raised in the streets. And being an orphan myself, I took pity on the lad. I took him in, and eventually, in time, I took him under my wing, and he's basically the story is about this kid. Now, the thing about this kid, now you see the guy named Jack there, right? You think, oh, it's got to be the Joker. No, ends up being this kid. Ends up being this kid that escapes, lets people out, and that kid, as I'm led to believe, and there you see them all being, is the one that will become the Joker. He's telling this story to a grown man that is his benefactor, and that's going to buy the asylum from him. That person ends up being the kid that escaped and came back. Now, one of the things in here is that they possibly tie the Joker into the Jack Ripper murders, which I thought was cool, and that's what you see here. You see the headlines from the Whitechapel murders, so they kind of tie them to that, which I thought is like the breakout was hidden from the papers to prevent panic. 6 people under Jack's tutelage twisted crimes because Jack escaped. There were robberies, murders. Eventually, all were brought back to this place. All except for him. All the people he let out were recaptured. All except for him. The man I refer to as Jack Doe, the man who I've come to believe become the world's most notorious serial killer, and that's where he kind of makes the connection to Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper, a man who might be more than human, but evil itself, a smiling demon, a hellish jokester. And the timeline fits. I said, yes, doctor, I'm well aware of your works on the subject. So he goes down here, and he's got something buried in the wall that he doesn't want to confront. And then when he finally gets it out there, it's he realizes what it is, something traumatizing, and he burns down his own asylum. And it's the journal. He had written all this in a journal that he was going to send away, but then this person that's standing outside of the burning asylum, this whole thing was to drive him crazy. And now he has the journal, and if you look closely, it's the Joker, the man who laughs in the dark. I just did a whole job paraphrasing it because when I was reading it, I was kind of stunned the way it rolls out. I love everything about this book. The panel breakdowns. I'm going to take the spoiler off. Like I said, I got to. Other than reading the whole comic, I just don't like the way that came out. But I enjoyed it. It's very haunting. Hold on, what you did? Okay. Yeah, the book is awesome. It gives you misdirection because the person you think you're talking about the Joker, but he burnt him up in the wall. It was actually the kid. But it gives you a history. Now, another thing that it does at the end of here is give me fingerprints on there. Then we get to the point that okay, so let me read this out here. See, it was Jack Doe's body I found in the wall, not the boy's. The boy became the Joker because it was the boy all along. The voice in Jack Doe's ear, the hand at his cell block, the knife at his throat. For that's what the man, my buyer, whispered to me. That phrase only we two knew. The same one that on the note left by Jack's body. So that's when he realized that he basically had inadvertently basically created the Joker. Now, this is a different origin than what we were getting in Absolute Batman, because remember that origin was what Alfred thinks happened. So even now, just like as the history of the Joker, we get an ambiguous origin. We've gotten 2 different origins for the same character that we know exist. All right, so now we're talking about they go down and he's talking. It's the Joker talking to I forgot who he's talking to here.
Aaron says his book has a lot of action in it.
It does. It has a lot of killing. Okay, the boy called me my son. All right, so he has the. So he's reading. So it's basically at the end of the day, it's the Joker reading from the journal of Mr. Arkham, Dr. Arkham. And then, here's a big twister, and this is where I will keep it. Now, the Joker is talking to someone this whole time after he closes up the after you realize that it's him, that Jack Doe was not the Joker, it was the kid, and now he's grown up, and he closes the journal that was being written by Arkham. Now we're at Arkham now, and he has a picture of Arkham Asylum burning. Which is a sick fuck that he is. Not Jack Doe, but him, the boy, the one I once called my son. And so he's looking over some stuff, and the boy who once pretended to believe in this place in healing the sick, but who never did. So that's the Joker now. The man called Jack Grim, otherwise, God have mercy of us all. Sign, Amadeus Arkham. So that's the last passage. And then the Joker laughs, like, oh, I'm supposed to be looking at, sir. Now he's talking to somebody off screen that's watching footage of Absolute Batman. I almost said Ultimate Batman. You're watching our target, the one they call the Batman. He's like, well, that's cute. He's a former patient here because of all the stuff that Bane did to him. The one who escaped, or so he thinks. Are we playing with our food here? What's next? And Joker's like, I have plans. And they're just watching Batman just hack people up with tags. If I'm being honest, sir, I've seen enough. I've seen enough to see he's not a real threat. And that's the person off screen. I can handle him easily. And then Joker's like, I know you can. But there are other friends I'd like to introduce him to in the meantime. And now, when you get this paper here, for those of you who cannot see on the screen, these are files. Kirk Langstrom, Pamela Isley, Jonathan Crane, Alzo Carlo, Jarvis says. You'll start to recognize some familiar names. You see Clayface in there. You see you get an absolute Clayface. You're going to get an absolute Scarecrow. You're going to absolute Hugo Strange. You're going to get an absolute. Obviously, we already know because the next issues have absolute Poison Ivy in there. So these are more of the rogues galleries that we have not seen yet. So he's either experimenting them or he's going to let them out. And in the very next panel, he hits the release button to open it up. And there you see Clayface coming out to the left, and you see the Man-Bat coming out to the right. And the off-screen person says, none of this is necessary. He's like, don't worry, you'll get your chance soon enough. Everything in due time. And the very last panel, my Deathstroke. So you just got introduced to absolute Deathstroke. Right there. And for those of you who can't see because that's a split frame, I will enlarge the screen, hopefully without jamming up this thing. So a lot of people have been, when are we going to get absolute Deathstroke? When are we going to have to do Deathstroke? There he is. Very fine panel. All fucked up, as only this universe can give them to you. So the biggest thing is that you get another origin of the Joker, and you also see the mention of several other people of Batman's Rogues Gallery that you have not seen up to this point. Obviously, we've seen what Ultimate Poison Ivy looks like, because the covers are already been released and the solicitation's already done it. This was a really good book. I see a lot of twists and turns, and it's really hard to swerve me because I've read this shit so many times. The way they swerved you in here, and the way they connected, the Joker maybe Jack the Ripper, that's fucking hilarious. The artwork reminded me of House of Magic back in the mid-90s of Vertigo. The way the panel breakdowns are, the way the color, the simplicity of the color, I thought was masterful. Because here's this book that has gotten all these brilliant, splash covers and splash cutters and all this stuff. And in this story, they decided, you know what? We're going to basic framework here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Some panels have all horizontal panels. Some pages, it varies. A lot of small panel work here. I know this is a detail most non-geeks will not care about, but the reason why for me panels are so important because it controls the flow of your intake of this information that you're being given. An artist can really dictate the pace that you're bringing us in with the size of their panels. I know that might sound ridiculous, but it's true, at least for me. So, Absolute Batman Arkham selling out everywhere. As soon as I put this back in his bag, I guarantee you, as soon as I put this, when I come back to the store, when my worker will be here tomorrow, this will not be here. And the rest of the I don't have any variants left. Everybody's sold clean out of them, and now you got the price gougers that are coming. So that's all I had to present to you guys as far as like topics goes. What do you guys got?
Yeah. By the way, actually, real quick, let me pull this up because this is actually relates to the thing I was talking about with Primate and all that. Oh, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this one. I just saw this like 5 minutes ago. Okay, let me get this up here. So yeah, remember William again. A lot of this stems from William's disappointment with the lack of Primate carnage in Nope, and this is from Monkey Paw Productions right here on Twitter. Then Gordy out here doing side quests. Well,
what am I seeing?
It's a scene from a Nope, the Primate trailer, and the Primate movie accounts as we all know how this is going to end, and then Monkey Paw Productions. So they had some fun with this. They
oh yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah, man, what? And that's where they the monkey goes, by the way. Very disappointing.
This is the most like chimp, like kind of like physicality you actually see in Nope is the fist bump. So like again, if you saw Nope and wanted to like actually see the monkey just going buck wild, then I think you will definitely very much enjoy Primate.
This monkey talks, right? Didn't I hear him speaking to like a voice modulator or some shit?
Well, he doesn't talk. But this is what I was saying earlier about he develops almost like this kind of like slasher movie persona because what it is like the father of the characters, he's deaf, so he communicates with the kids either sign language or the kids don't know sign language. He has like a thing he'll type. They'll like spell out, okay, here's what I'm saying. So there's a couple of points where the chimp gets hold of that and he actually hits the keys and he spells out messages like I'm gonna destroy you or this that or so. Yeah, they have some fun with that.
I thought he was actually talking. I don't know a lot about the movie other than it's a monkey that's tearing people up. I'll probably get around to seeing it. It'll probably be on streaming in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's true. But you will. I think you're that hole in your heart from the Nope of monkey violence will definitely be filled.
Well, yeah, and like I said, what's the scene? There's the scene that's on Nope that just really that tortilla thing when it eats them. That whole thing was awful.
So that one I actually really where it shows them all the people they beamed up inside of the ship's gullet. No, that was so claustrophobic that actually scared me a lot. Brad, are you gonna watch it? I don't think I've seen the first one actually, so I need to get it. The first Greenland.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the first one, so I gotta see that. I did interview Gerard Butler a couple of years ago, so that's kind of nice.
I'm trying to find that scene.
Oh, you're gonna pull up the scene from Nope of just like the kid like peering from under the table, like seeing like all the
no, that the tortilla thing eats them. I have that already. The birthday. When the alien eats them, and they're all
come on, dude. That was cool. I dug that because that was
it was so fucking awful.
They had them all like just lined up like down the alien's gullet, and they're all getting like just pulled into its digestive tract like that. It was so claustrophobic.
So it looked like something from Land of the Lost, and not in a good way. I can't find the scene because and the alien was just so lame. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
I just really dug that Monkey Paw Productions like decided to get on this whole thing with Primate. Like, I don't know if there's somebody. Did like an intern like watch the show and say we should play around with this on social media? I don't know, but or would like Jordan Peele say it's like, oh yeah, this movie like is that seed of the monkey going nuts that I didn't show. So let's have a little back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah, we've been seeing. What's your point? Yeah, we've seen Absolute Catwoman because she's been there from the start, and then she helped in the Abomination storyline. You haven't seen Lady Shiva, those characters aren't who they are, though. At least with Catwoman, she's recognizable as Catwoman. That would have improved Nope. That would have improved it. That would have made it worth it. As far as the Ultimate Universe, I've started reading Ultimate Endgame, and right now I'm reading. I peeked in another one, but right now Ultimate Endgame was my priority because that's where everything ends. I'm just waiting for the announcement that they're doing something in its place instead of just getting rid of it. Because right now Ultimate Endgame, it was one of the top selling comics, up there with the Ultimate, the Absolute Batman stuff. It beats at some of those titles. So I just, for life of me, don't understand why this imprint is ending unless I'm missing something. I have to be missing something. I'll look it up. But yeah, it's I don't think it's a good idea to end the Absolute Universe or the Ultimate Universe. All right, guys, that's about it. That's about all I got. It's going to be a shorter show tonight because really not enough going on that I want to talk about on this show. There's stuff going on in the world, but not anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first weekend of there, it's our first Saturday night show of the year, isn't it? I think it is.
Second.
Okay. Well, first one was like there's
technically because I did an overnighter. That wasn't really an overnighter. It was really.
Yeah,
no, you're right. You're right. This is one because me and Aaron were together when we were watching wrestling.
Yeah.
We were watching wrestling. I did not do this for Saturday. This is the first Saturday. So my description is wrong. For some reason, I thought I did Saturday.
So, like, as far as like the getting back like the normal swing of things, it's like the first Saturday show. Brad, how gory is Primate? Quite, very. There are body parts torn away by this chimp in graphic fashion. One in particular that I'm going to, assume you are going to latch onto, like parts of the human body ripped off.
Dismemberment and destruction. So that's what I wanted from the one from Nope. I mean, I got it sort of, but then I didn't. I was teased.
One thing that happens in it is the kids when the chimp starts going wild, they there's a pool in the house, and this house it takes place in Hawaii. The house is situated kind of on a cliffside, and the pool on the house is like right kind of embedded into the cliffside. So they kind of take refuge in the pool. They dive because the chimp can't swim. So, but then they can't get their phone to call for help. So they have to kind of like devise the strategy of how we're going to survive. And so like a lot of it, they're kind of jumping in and out of the pool. There's one death. Again, I'm not going to say what it entails, but there's one death pretty early on that let's say takes advantage of the fact that this pool is on a cliffside.
Sounds like a real banger.
Brad, is it more gory than Thanksgiving? Nobody's getting thrown to an oven in this, but it's definitely bloodier, I would say. And that's saying something, because Thanksgiving is like did pulling punches. I'm with William too. When are we gonna get some damn news about Thanksgiving too?
Yeah.
I mean, let me look that up real quick. Because my mind, I'm the kind of person, my mind, like after Christmas, I'm already like thinking towards like what the next Christmas. So, okay.
How does he get? I mean, does it show what bites him? Because I know Cujo is a bat.
Oh yeah, there are bites in this. There's one, there's one in particular that's really really vicious. So,
what gives him? Because in Cujo, that's not a spoiler. What gives him the rabies?
Oh, I thought you said does the monkey bite anybody? It's like I don't think they actually go into. They don't reveal actually what bit the chimp. They just discover
Cujo. It's a bat.
Yeah, so they don't go into detail like exactly how the chimp contracted rabies, but they have like this kind of title card where they go, hydrophobia is which that's like the medical term for it, but it's, animals that they see water, they go nuts, and they got 48 hours to treat him, or it's irreversible, and the common term for it is rabies.
Oh, so he doesn't have rabies.
No, he does have rabies. He does.
Oh,
It just isn't like really like revealed. Like it doesn't show like the bite moment where he gets the bite, and then it kind of shows he has a bite, and he's gradually deteriorating until his rampage starts.
It's kind of lame that they don't show you. All right, well, all right, guys, that is that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 10:30. Please like, subscribe if you liked anything that if it's your first time listening.
Wait, what am I thinking? Yeah, it's a mongoose. Yeah, it was a mongoose. They don't show the bite, but he was bitten by a mongoose.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's it. That's all I got. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button. We will be back tomorrow, roughly around 10:30, just to wrap up everything. I think this is a pretty thorough show. We covered everything that was big this week. The biggest comic of the week was going to be Batman Arkham. 1986 is we're going to continue to talk about 1986, the year in movies and in music. So each one of these will have a movie and a song, or not a song, or an album or something from that year. And there was a lot, so we might have to double up on some of these. Tonight I just wanted to see how it would come out, how it would flow. So other than that, outside of Heaven and Hell, right, game-changing albums in rock, would you be willing to review from him? Or everything, Rainbow? I mean, his entire line, everything that Ryan James Dio did. He had that kind of voice that you just followed it where it went. I just think that Black Sabbath was best with his range. So, but yeah, his entire career was. All right, guys. Like, subscribe, share, do all of that stuff, and we will see you tomorrow night at 10:30, unless something happens or else I'm too tired. Whatever. Bye.
See you guys.